Hi, everybody, and welcome to Metaphysical Insights. I'm your host, William Becker, and this fine gentleman that you see next to me is my dear friend Ender. He is coming to us live at 1 o'clock in the morning from Izmir, Turkey, and I am greatly appreciative of your stamina and willingness to do this so late at night.
No problem.
Yeah,
You're everything for you, my friend.
you're very kind. You're very kind. Of course, I remember back when I was your age, we barely got started in the parties by 1 o'clock. So, but I
You're
wasn't
s-
married. I didn't have a
you're
baby.
still young, and you can still go to parties, William. So when you
Yeah.
come next time to Izmir, then we can go together.
Okay. Sounds good. But I usually crash out by about 10:30 or 11 these days. Um. Anyway, we've got a few people watching already, too. And
Perfect.
if you have questions for Ender or for myself, please post them in the chat and I can play wizard and magic and push a button and they show up, and so we can see them and answer them. Um, One of the things I really enjoy about having Ender on, not only do I finally get a chance to talk to a dear friend that it's hard sometimes because of 11-hour time differences and family and all the rest of it, but he's in a different part of the world than so many of the people we talk to and talk about are from. So there are some traditions, there are some superstitions, there are several things that are different than what we usually hear. And he's also, just a few hundred miles. What are you? 400 miles from Gobekli Tepe? No, 220, I think.
Yes. But even if it's not so close, I had the chance before to go there. There are actually very ancient and historical places here in Turkey that you
Yes,
should also visit. But I still haven't got the chance to visit them too. But
hmm
hopefully one day, maybe we can go together there, and I will be your guide, maybe.
I have.
But yeah,
Yeah, I have the plan. I just haven't found the cash yet. So anybody
yeah,
out there listening,
we have to
the
find a solution for that.
yes, Ender and my travel funds could use some real boosting right now. So I take Visa, debit, whatever, cash, gold, diamonds. Um, anyway, but yeah, because I mean, and I haven't gotten to Gobekli Tepe. I finally figured out how I could. But not only that, you've got places where people lived, earliest forms of villages, even older than that, not too far away. And I've been close to them, but the one side I was by, they'd already covered back up again. And I can't remember the name. I don't speak Turkish well, and these names are even older than that.
So, did you mean Ephesus or?
No, Ephesus I've been to. And Ephesus doesn't go back as far. Oh, there's one that starts with a
You mean
K.
you mean Çatalhöyük, these places?
Yes. Hmm.
Yes, these the old places. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they are a little bit more far away from us,
Right.
so it's not easy to go there. It's another part of the other part of Turkey.
Right.
So
They're in
uh,
Anatolia, I
with,
think, some of them.
yes, with the car it would take a long time.
Yeah.
So the plane, with the plane, it would be the best choice.
Right. And I know some of them aren't too far from Gobekli Tepe. I mean, oh, I just friends of mine went there. People I on my last time I was over, people I met, and they went. They took a cruise a little bit on the Euphrates and went over a sunken city. They went to Abraham's spring, where the flaming logs turned into sacred fish. And I was watching a documentary over some of this last night. I mean, these go back thousands of years before any of the current religions.
Yeah.
Um, these were sacred sites before Judaism, before Christianity, before Islam. So many places around there, and just so much to see. I'm working on it. Maybe there's some possible ideas coming to.
We have to see what time will show. So yeah. But the last
Exactly.
time we visited Izmir, it was really interesting. So we could visit together some places I've never been before too,
Yeah.
like churches that are here. And we had actually a very nice time in the church. You remember where we get the wine?
Yes.
It
Yes.
was really interesting. So just a short recap, if anyone is watching at the moment. I can't see how many people are at the moment here, but
Just
there's
one at this point, but we'll get more, and we'll get a lot of them watching later. They'll come,
okay.
after the
So
fact.
anyone that's watching, so I will make a short recap here. We, me and William, we visited a church here in Izmir together, and there was uh, a church, a very old church here. So I can't remember the time, but there was um, what is it called? I can't remember the name, but we had a chance to uh, visit it and looked inside,
Yes.
and then we get a gift also, two bottle of wine.
Yes, that one of the past deacons or somebody had made, I think,
Mm,
and I think it's a Roman Catholic church, not an Orthodox church, too, wasn't it?
it was Catholic, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Which is a little less common there, but it was great. No, I enjoyed every minute of everything we did. It was fantastic. There was so much to see and do, and you're a great tour guide, as are Camille and Ada. It was great to have them a part of it too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all that again. And people don't understand. People think of the country Turkey over here because we're fairly uneducated as a whole about about our own country, and then so much of the focus, most of our development and immigration came from Europe, and mostly
Yeah.
Western Europe. So that's so much of the focus here. The gene pool here is more Western European, Northern European than anybody else. And people here don't remember, one, that Turkey is a secular constitution. It isn't uh, an Islamic state or an Islamic country by constitution. Most people are some form of Islam, I think, but everything is there. And Christianity was there before Islam. Islam didn't come around till about 720, I think,
Yes.
722.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and so there's these series, and when you get into parts of the southern Turkey, you're in the Fertile Crescent. You're in the beginning of civilizations as we know it. The oldest seemingly organized civilizations in the world, the founding and the beginning of agriculture, the beginning of metallurgy, um, the beginning of um, living environments more than just a clan, where you start forming villages of multiple clans. Um, It's amazing. And the people represent all this too. You've got Turkey as a melting pot. Um, you've got the people come from all over and from all different periods of history. And I haven't met anybody over there that isn't just wonderful either. Um, and patient when I can't speak Turkish. But, so much of what we look for on this show too is the metaphysical. And when you go to Turkey and to these sites, there's a whole different feel to it than we get going to Stonehenge. And um, I don't know. What do you think? I'm kind of rambling on about all this, Ender. What are your
So
thoughts?
here, for the first, um, many people in the world, when you say Turkey, they actually think, like you said, like an Islamic country. Okay, 98% of Turkey has Islamic religion, but the country has no religion. It's not a religious country, so it's
Hmm.
secular country.
Hmm.
And but 98% of the people of the population is Islamic. So but not in the way like in other Islamic countries, like more in a secular way.
Right.
And when you think that when you say Turkey in other countries, for example, in America, they think about like in the streets there are everywhere camels or I don't know, like people wearing turbans, but it's not actually like that. So when you just check in YouTube, even there, when you just write daily life in Turkey, you can see that it's not like this.
Hmm.
And of course, there are some parts where this, like in Eastern Anatolia, where uh, it's not so much modern. Maybe you
Hmm.
can see it's not like the big city life in Istanbul or in Izmir, but still there are no camels. So
No.
it's not maybe like in Egypt or Syria or Iraq or Afghanistan. So yeah,
It's
we are even if we are not in European Union, we are more like Europe than Asia. But
exactly.
we have both of them mixed, like Asia and Europe.
Hmm.
And maybe that's the reason we cannot get into Europe Union.
Yeah, that could be part of it. Um, and in some ways, it's too bad you aren't. In some ways, it's probably just as well you're not. I'm a firm supporter of the EU, but it has it's merged from what its original purpose was, and it isn't always good. But that politics is not the purpose of my shows. Those we can discuss in private sometime. But
Yes.
also, one of the things over there, you don't see women in hijab very often. You rarely, if ever, see a woman in a burqa. Um, Sometimes I have seen when I was there, like for your wedding, and in this coastal village or area, I'd see women sometimes with huge hair, with a scarf around it, high, tied up high with the scarf, probably keeping them warm. But they were either in shorts or skin tight pants or sleeves, or shirtless or super short sleeve blouses. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't modest dress. It wasn't immodest, but
Uh, there are like some different beliefs also in
Mhm.
Islam. It's like where I'm not professional, so I
Right,
just tell you what I know, right? Okay.
right.
So there are in Islam there are different types of beliefs, like you know, and some people say that you have to cover your hair for the
Hmm.
female, and so they have to just cover the hair, but they can wear, like you said, open sleeves and walking with jeans, so there's no problem like that. Just wearing maybe normal headscarf, it is okay. As some don't wear
Hmm.
anything, and of course, like this burqa you said, some people wearing this, but when you see people wearing burqa, it's not more. They are more like coming from Arabia or more like Syria, but you don't see often people from Turkey or originating from Turkey wearing burqas.
Yeah.
But of course, we have to respect everyone that wears. So we cannot blame anyone wearing something. The
Oh
same
no.
goes when some people wear mini skirts or like very short t-shirts or something like this. So you see, we have a mixed population here, and everyone is respecting everyone. So we don't have any problems with people wearing headscarves or something like this. And so yeah, everyone gets along together.
And that's what I was trying to go for and say. It's certainly I'm in awe and appreciative of the mix and how nobody is condemning one or the other because of a dress style or whatever. And I'm just trying to point out to people that that's, it's a very modern country in the parts I've been to. And every country, including this one, has remote areas that um, are not as well educationally developed, economically developed. We've got parts of my own state that are far more conservative, both in whatever form of religion they think of Christianity they want to take, or in politics than where I live, for example. And it's don't be afraid to go to Turkey. And if you're a woman traveling alone, there's no problem. Um,
Yes.
not that I could see. Everything was great. English isn't a huge language over there. You do better if you speak German, I think. Um, but it's there, and um, it's one of my favorite places to go. I mean, and part of it, I get to see you and your family, but I'm in love with the land, the history, the culture, the people, um, the ancientness,
Mm.
and that's you know kind of where and I'm being clumsy about how I'm putting all this together, and excuse me, everybody, but it's kind of an introduction into, and I know that you're not a scholar into the ancient wonders of Turkey, but you also have your degree in tourism. You've studied more of this than most people. Um, and how I, I'm looking for some ideas about what is known or thought to be of the spirituality, not necessarily a religious practice that could be, but you live in an area where people worshipped of some form or another and watched thousands of years of religious and spiritual practice develop. And frankly, including where you live. Your town was founded by the Minoans, was it?
Yes,
Or the
but you mean like now from the Turkish spiritualism, like from the shamans and
well, that, but also the early things back into the early days of Mesopotamian societies. And if you have any concept or any idea of how those things have changed, how one influences the other. For example,
it's
in
always influence. It's always have a connection.
mhm,
Like you know the evil eye. You
right,
know, I also gave someone to you. I think
I
you
have
have
one
one too.
in my entryway. I bought several that I took and gave to friends, all of which have them out. I have one I carry in my pocket. Um,
It is a you can think like talisman, and
mhm,
it is very protective from evil eyes. Like, but when someone is envy you, it will protect you. So something will not break, or something will not be torn apart, or it will stuck to you. So you always have to keep it with you.
mhm,
So, for example, if you have put it into your home, and it will keep you safe also from bad spirits. It's like the belief, like, but it's early. It is not. It has nothing to do with Islam. It's
Right.
before Islam,
Right.
and it came from there until today. Maybe it had another meaning before,
Mhm.
but now today we are saying like it is a protective eye, like it protects you from the bad eye and from bad spirits. So everyone here in the house has one.
Mhm. And you're not a superstitious family.
No, no. I have my own some superstitious things like you like when you have a knife in your hand, you
Uh-huh.
don't give it to another person. This knife,
Oh, you don't?
like when you give it, it means that you will have a fight soon.
Oh,
So you always have to put the knife on the table before you give it, and then the person takes it from the table or from where you leave it.
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that one yet.
Or, for example, when you are lying down,
Uh-huh.
you don't walk over some person. When you walk over this person, then this person will not grow and will always stay the same length. So you have to go back again
Uh-huh.
and over him, so
Okay.
he will grow more.
Okay,
So
reverse
when you
yourself.
lie down, never go over someone.
Okay.
Like it's not nothing real, but it's just superstitious.
Right. Folk traditions and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Um, see, there's always so much more to learn. And with those evil eye, I saw those in Crete all over the place too. And so it seems to be pretty common. And you know, some of the more ancient seems like some of the reliefs and such focus on an eye. And I wonder if there's any, do you know if there's any connection to those? And I'm talking, you know, reliefs that go back 4,000 years, 5,000 years, 6,000 years, Assyrian, Hittite.
I don't know about anything connection to eyes, but the
Okay.
eyes were always attracted to spiritualism because the third eye may be something about this.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, Maybe it has a connection with this, but if it has really a connection to spiritualism in another way, I don't know,
Okay.
or in history.
Yeah. No, that's cool. What I know in the past we've talked a little bit about the jinn. We've had fabulous discussions about all of this usually before we started the show. You know, we've done all the talking beforehand. We didn't today. But
Of course,
how,
we can speak again.
yes, exactly. And I'm trying to remember all of these things because it's been a while. Um, what Well, one of the things that actually I have been interested in, I've been looking at lately, is all around the winter solstice and for a little while after. There are several religions, including Judaism and Christianity, that have light as part of this, and the light coming into the world and guiding and whatever. I don't know about Islam. Is there a ceremony? Is there some holiday? um, around from the middle of December through like the middle of
We
February.
have we have soon holidays. We have holidays like Islamic holidays. We have here,
Hmm.
like for example, there is in the Quran there is a passage where where the Prophet Muhammad
Uh-huh.
is going to God to speak with God,
Hmm.
and we are. It's like a celebration that he is going up, and we are celebrating this day. Like
Okay.
he's going to God and speak with him on a horse. So we can actually make another show just about topic this. So I
Okay.
can also make more research,
Okay.
and then I can tell you more about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And other religious, we also have our uh, I'm thinking about the English name, a sacrifice feast, sacrifice holidays,
Okay.
where we sacrifice lambs and cows. It's also a celebration.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, so more of that we don't have any. The other ones are just normal country holidays that we have here.
Okay. And it's not anything really attached to the sun or light
No,
or
not with sun and light.
okay. Because I was
But
trying
I
to
will
draw.
check with holidays. I don't remember, but maybe if there are any stories about this, we can check.
Oh, that'd be great. Because one of the things I've been thinking about um, is how Christianity, which is what I've grown up around mostly, so I understand it better. I've studied a little bit about Islam, and I've known several people who are Muslim to various degrees of practice, just like Christians to various degrees of practice. And I've studied some and known several people in Judaism. But we've got the pagan religions that celebrated light coming back, the sun coming back, light and was coming into the world, the cold and the darkness was going to go away, the plants were going to grow again, the leaves were going to come on the trees, food was going to come out of the ground again, that kind of thing. And we've got monotheistic religions um, that have taken that tradition and still use the sun and the light coming into the world as a healing or bringing salvation or knowledge, or whatever different pieces. And it's
Hmm.
just a different take on an older tradition. And I was curious if there was anything in Islam like that, because it would fit neatly into my theory if all three of the main monotheistic religions had something like that. Um,
I
but
have to check if there is something like this, but they are all connected together. Like, okay, Judaism is not connected, or Christianity in that way is not connected with Islam because it is said that Islam is the next religion to Christianity. Like,
mhm,
but um, everything that it is written, okay, not everything, but most of the things that are written in the Bible are also in Quran.
mhm,
Not everything, but like in Islam, there is no belief that Jesus is the Son of God.
right.
Like this, because it's in Islam, it's like that God is another being
Mhm,
and Jesus is another being.
right. And he
But
was a
also,
prophet.
yes, but Jesus is also the prophet and is also like in Christianity, is that in Islam is also they are awaiting like Jesus' return. The same.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
I didn't realize that. Hmm.
and there are very some parts that are equal like Christianity.
Right.
Yeah, but like I said, I have to make a little more research about religion. Then we can make a show just about religion.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to do that. Because so much, the Old Testament we call, that's the part of the Bible before Christ, is basically the Torah, the books
Yes.
of the Jewish, and same prophets. I mean, you have Abraham, everybody, so much of the Old Testament with all three religions share. And I call it that only because in the Christian religion we're separated more, I think, than the two books are different. And
Mhm,
most of that goes back to stories from Sumer,
mhm,
from the ancient Mesopotamian periods, much, much older than the Jewish culture and religions or peoples, and then all the the rest of them. And it fascinates me how traditions and religions and stories and the spiritual connection of some sort translates through the millennia and changes name, maybe changes practice, but there's a center of the teaching that goes back
mhm.
for thousands of years. And I'd like to try to see how that all fits together and works or doesn't work. And one of the things I like to do when I'm traveling is when I'm in a spot that's known to be holy, see what energy I can pick up with that and how it seems compared to other places around the world I've been. And I find that's usually the same, and that the different levels usually are harmonious, occasionally not, but the changes usually kind of work together. Um, I found a couple places where that wasn't so, but I found that in Turkey too. And often I haven't had enough time. When you and I go off and do things, we have plenty of time, it works. But a lot of my exploration's been on tours, history-based tours, and they've been great. But we never have as much time as I want or need at any of the locations. So,
You should stay 1 month here
oh, easily, easily. Um,
with the rate right now. You can do it easily here. Dollar is almost 20 here.
wow.
So the
Yeah,
last time you came here and bought your your wristband,
uh,
what was it called? Yeah.
a
So
bracelet. Yeah.
yeah, your bracelet. You can
Hmm.
buy now four bracelet for that money.
And I only paid $50 a night for the hotel with breakfast the way it was, and it was
Yeah,
fabulous.
now you can stay 1 month.
Yeah, I just have to pay the airfare to get there. That hasn't gone down. Um, no, that's another thing. And Turkey is definitely affordable, um, and needs our money. Spend money, people. Go spend dollars. Um, but sorry, I honestly don't get paid to promote the country. I'm not on the salary of the government or your tourism board. But I like to promote places that I feel good about, and often people have misconceptions about, because we hear what we hear in the news, and most of that has to do with politics, and that most of the politics has nothing to do with the people. So,
Of course, you don't have to mix that up.
nope.
So because when you look Turkish people and Greek people, when you look in the news, we don't get along. But I had a lot of Greek friends,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of Greek tourists here. We go to Greece. We don't, the people, they don't actually have a problem with each other. Okay, there are some right wing thinking people. That is
Yeah.
another case. But uh, normal people like us, we don't have problems with that.
Uh-uh.
And the problem is about government. They have their problems, but we don't have any problem with people around the world. So
Yeah, and when people go to travel any place, we should always be respectful. You respect the culture, you respect the people, you respect the religions, you follow the rules. You know, you're a guest in some place, somebody else's home, so to speak, and you don't you you follow the rules, and if you treat people respectfully, they treat you respectfully. Oh, what's this? Yes, I ask questions though because I like to know.
of
Um,
course,
I like to understand how people from one region to another see, you know.
I'm open to questions. So also, I think someone wrote Wesley,
Yeah,
Jessica.
yeah, this one and the one before was hello
Mm.
and hoping everyone staying warm and safe around the world. And we appreciate all the comments. I'll often not interrupt to say a response to them unless it's a question, but I like to flash them so we get them to see them and everything, and I do appreciate it.
If
And
anyone has also questions, just ask.
yeah, and yeah, Ender's got his computer handy. I can always get back to things, and it's we can, if we can't find the answer out now, we can find it out and I can post it later. But what and actually one of the things I would talk about a little bit, and again, I'm not being political about this, I'm not being judgmental, but we just had the 100-year anniversary of the big swap of Greece back to Greece and Turks back to Turkey. What kind of a historical and perhaps from a metaphysical perspective, do you think that actually thousands of years of Greek influence left?
You
Besides
mean
good
here?
vineyards.
You,
Yeah,
you mean here?
yeah.
So at the moment, we also have many people living here. Also, people that could not leave, for example, or the family are here, or their roots are here, or now living in Greece, for example. But in metaphysical ways, it's like, yeah, we still have many Greek churches that are still active,
Right.
and with also many Christians visiting them.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I could answer your question, but
Well, that gives a piece of the answer, yeah. And well, you told me about the one where I stayed in Alisati. I don't say
yes,
it right.
yes.
Which was just a short walk from the hotel I was staying in, and um they opened the curtain for the Greek Orthodox services,
Yes.
and then closed the curtain over the iconostasis for Friday prayers and the Islamic services. It's wonderful. You've got two ancient groups using the
Yeah,
same church because it was a
yeah.
church before it was a mosque.
And in Islam, it's not allowed to have idols,
Right.
and you cannot have any paintings on the walls when you pray. It's like when you pray in front of someone, it's like you are praying to that person instead of God. So even if you are just normal praying, nobody walks in front of you or should stay in front of you. But because you are bowing, like in the when you are praying, like it's like then you are praying to them. So nothing should be in front of you. Like, but in the churches, you know, there are like the iconas and all the paintings.
Right.
So they are then putting, because they are also protecting the history and don't want to damage them. They just made they cover it with blankets and stuff, and then they are doing their practice, their praying practice, and after the praying, they are just open the curtains again, so then the Christians can come and then have their prayings for Sundays and other days.
And I spent a little bit of time there. There's a lovely courtyard right outside, and I was able to sit in the shade and watch people come in and out a little bit. Wasn't a lot of traffic, just absorb the feel of the place. And I went in, and it was one of the most calm and peaceful places and strife-free places I went. And there was this nice, gorgeous cemetery right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
I wandered around in that for a while, and I couldn't tell if people from both religions were buried in the same place or not. I couldn't. I don't read Greek any better than I read Turkish, so
We have actually separate cemeteries
okay.
for. We have cemeteries for Christian people and cemeteries for Muslims, but we also have mixed
Okay.
cemeteries too.
Yeah.
It depends just where it is. So if some Christian dies here, you can choose if you want to be in a Christian cemetery, because some Christians want that. Not
Okay.
they don't want in where Muslim cemetery is.
Right.
And
Consecrated land or something. I don't know.
maybe, but we have many people also in Muslim cemeteries,
Hmm.
Christians. So there's nothing bad about this. But it depends on the family and the tradition, like how they want it. It's not
Okay.
like you have to, but it's more like what the people want.
Okay. I like that. And what about there's some of the symbolism. I'm thinking about that beautiful little church that we went to by your
Yes,
parents' house.
yes.
And the tombstones had, was it like heads? I've got all the notes on video.
Yes,
I'd have to go through and because it's been,
they
geez,
are they are very old. They were Ottoman grace,
right.
and they have the Ottomans. They wore like a it looks like a turban on the head, you
Right.
know, but
Yes.
it's not actually a turban that they are wearing at the heads.
Okay.
This is their, when you die, you will get into when you are I will try to explain it in an easy way.
Okay.
It's like blanket. When you die, you will get into your death blanket, or what is it called? I don't know.
A shroud.
Like
A shroud.
shroud. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It is your shroud that you are wearing on your head. So every tombstone you see, it's like a turban, but actually it is his shroud.
Okay.
And when this person died, they take off the turban, and it's actually the shroud, and they cover him then and or her, and then bury it inside it.
Okay. So
Without
you're
without coffin, of course, because we don't have coffin in Islam.
okay. Right. And actually that makes a lot of sense just from a environmental point of view. Where
Yeah,
Islam started, there wasn't a lot of wood.
yeah, it's like we came from the earth and we go back to earth mentality. It's
Yep.
like you are just we were born naked and we go back naked again
Yeah, yeah,
without any clothes,
and that's
only the cloth.
those are the same
And
scriptures that we have. Only usually we're practicing. People. Well, we do a lot of cremation now, but didn't used to. But the big coffins and such,
mm,
and preservation. Embalming the body, which didn't ever make sense to me. So it's where I live. It's not legal, mandatory where you have to. So we we aren't. But um, yeah. Okay, thank you. That makes sense because that was a fascinating place too, and including some paranormal activity, if I remember right.
you can see always some paranormal activity when you go nights at the cemetery. So I don't prefer to go nights at the cemetery. Really,
Okay.
nobody does because uh, there is always something. There is always something, not in a bad way,
Right.
because it is a peaceful place.
Yes.
Nothing can happen to you. Like I remember we were talking about this. Like we are more. You should be more scared than the living than the
Yes.
dead.
Uh-huh.
So they will not harm us in any way. So uh, I will not prefer to stay a night there.
Uh-huh.
But when you have to, nothing will happen to you. So, but you could see or hear things. I
Right.
can guarantee you this.
Right. And I remember we talked years ago when you and were first talking. There were things that you were seeing around
Uh,
the
when I
town.
started to have interested in this paranormal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I I was watching a lot of videos and was listening to some podcasts and everything, and then I tried to make my own research. I put my own recording. I
Mm-hmm.
had a I had a record tape, and I just went to cemetery and I started ask questions, and then sometimes you don't hear anything. Sometimes it's like someone is speaking with you, but then again, I cannot actually understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So so then after that, I met you,
Yeah.
but I was never into Ouija board or something like this.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not either. I don't know enough about them. I don't need them, and it's too easy to fake anything like that, even if they're benign and harmless. And I hear things from both directions, so I just leave them alone. I'd prefer not
Okay.
to have anything to do with them. Yeah. And I know places that won't allow them in. Yeah. Yeah, and actually I much prefer doing things or I do most of my stuff in the daylight. I don't fall and break my neck as easily if I can see where I'm going. And the entities are around. I mean, um, certain things it's easier to see a little bit in the dark sometimes at the cemeteries. But when you and your family come here to visit, I have a cemetery that I used to have a key for, but I think I can still get a key for it. And I got permission to go there one night on my own. And it was great. Now, you walk about a half a mile on a road that looks like you're in the middle of nowhere. There are trees and stuff on both sides. You aren't that far from houses, but you're a little ways. And it's an old historic wagon road. And you walk through an area that had lots of Native American activity. It was a place where they had hunting for hundreds of years. The different tribes from hundreds of miles came to hunt and to gather herbs and plants and to fish because we have the second largest waterfall in the country right on the other side of this area, and by volume, not by height. And um, it was the fear of who I might run into having the wrong kind of party that was the scary part of the trip. But it was the usual suspects in the cemetery itself. A lot of human-shaped shadows around the fringes and the background by the trees and such, which you see during the day too. And very calm. And sometimes they'll talk to you, sometimes not. And then on the way back, it was getting pretty intimidating, and something grabbed my pants leg, and I took a couple steps and stopped and looked, and it wasn't a twig. There was nothing there that on the ground that could have snagged my pant leg. Um,
What time
and
was it?
about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night,
Mm.
and so not super late, but it was dark, as dark as it gets because uh, I live by the city, so it never gets totally dark. Um, and Thousands of Native Americans were on one side of this trail, and they had their stories they wanted to tell me, and they wanted me to keep walking out as they told me the story, because that was their place then. And it's like, okay, it's time for you to go, but we want to tell you this. So I left, and they told me the stories, and it's kind of long. The nuts and bolts of it is what happens to people when their culture and their society gets so degraded, both internally and from internal and external sources, and how the lack of respect, the crime that happens, the decline in the civilization that happens, and it happened with a lot of these people, and the resulting inter-group warfare, and I mean just all kinds of stuff that I
Mm.
later found out actually fits historically. But um, I'm not even sure why I told that, except it's with the cemetery. But it was the living that really scared me the most, the potential, because I mean I live in the Portland, Oregon area. You go into a quiet park like setting at night, and you don't know who's going to be around, what they're selling, what they're doing, if they're camping out, living there because they can't afford to live someplace else. Um, yeah, it's just you don't do that by yourself very much. Not in survive. I mean, it's not like we're this horribly dangerous area, but you need more street smarts when nobody's around than you do when you're in a crowd of people. So that's what happens when you live in a gun culture with too many drugs and too much poverty. So yeah, um, we're getting close to the end of the showtime. Tell me about, or tell us all about your videos, your
Oh.
YouTube videos.
Okay, so I recently opened a YouTube channel with my friend,
Hmm.
and we are making videos about interesting stuff happening in the world, and also about some scary, spooky stuff, and some stuff about uh, like recent like murder cases, like stuff of this. But it's more like a hobby.
Hmm.
But we will see where until where it will go. I have fun doing the videos and the recordings, so I'm just doing it for the fun. We'll see where it will continue until when.
Okay.
But for now, it looks very good.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're fantastic, and especially since you've started putting English subtitles on them.
Yes, so our last 4 or 5 videos, they have also subtitles. So I just put recently 2 new videos. So they just need more subtitles. I will add
Okay.
them. Maybe
Okay.
now I will add them after you.
Okay.
That I will add the subtitles maybe. and I'm sharing them on social media, like on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, or Reddit. I just share it everywhere.
Mhm.
And yeah, maybe if you can subscribe,
As soon as
it will help.
Yeah, I'm subscribed and I share them whenever I get them from you. Um, is there a link I could send? I could put in the
I can here.
yeah.
I can send a link to our to the channel.
Okay, that would be great, and that way people can do it. Um,
Mm.
and it's I really encourage it, everybody. They're incredibly well done, and both Ender and his friend that does these with, their voices are perfect for it, and the the phrasing, the way, even when you can't understand because it's Turkish, um, it's really good to listen to. And then with the English subtitles, people like me, sorry, I'm losing my hearing here. People like me that are not good with languages can hear them, and they're not. I mean, like the one you put out one with about the zombies, and I think the
Yes.
fungi and stuff. And it wasn't saying this is going on. It wasn't promoting a conspiracy. It was well done, fascinating, and interesting. And a lot of them are kind of making fun or fun, and some of them are leaving room for discussion or interpretation.
So before that, we had the the video about the giants,
Hmm.
and also there was a video which came from Oregon, and about a creature caught in that was from a zombie video. That the zombie was caught in Oregon,
Right,
and so now we have also the newest video was about zombie survival guide. How
right.
do you survive a zombie survival?
Okay,
And when there is a zombie invasion, how you can be stay alive. And now the latest video is about uh, uh, a TikToker uh, which had problems with his family and like murder case and everything. But you have to watch it. I will send you the link, and it's fun to watch.
yeah, I really enjoy them. Excuse me, they're usually about 10 or 15 minutes, it seems like, about that. Um,
Yes.
and I highly encourage it. And where I live, we're well known for Bigfoot, but zombies was a new one to me about them being over here. So I, it was great.
We should make a stream again soon,
Yeah, exactly.
and then we can also talk about the gins. You wanted to talk about the gins?
Yeah, and I know we have in the past, but it'd be good to talk about them again. I forget, other people forget, and there's so much a connection between those and then how things have been interpreted and changed over here. Um, and yeah,
We can talk about, yeah. There is no problem. Uh, Actually, I don't prefer so much talking about them.
okay. Well, we don't have to. We can talk
No,
about
no,
something else,
no. We can, of course, we can talk, but it's a really dangerous topic.
and that's why I say anytime you're not comfortable with, I never want
No,
to
no,
make people uncomfortable.
no. It's everything's perfect. Okay,
Okay,
we
okay,
we can do this as long we have our protection. Nothing can happen to us.
that's right. We'll wear the seeing eye around our necks.
Yes.
Everybody I gave one to put it up. by the door they use the most. And
It's very good. Yes.
yeah, and most of these are not superstitious or religious people of any kind,
Yeah,
but they've got them.
it's like nowadays it's more like a fashion,
Uh-huh.
and you have it all on your T-shirts as earring or as tattoos or like or as a poster. It doesn't have the meaning anymore actually, but uh, or it's like some attraction for tourists. But if you believe, then you believe. So
Yeah, and yeah, it's great. It helps. I think there could be a thing about helping to watch out. I mean, we have some responsibility for ourselves, and keep your eyes open can be part of that, I think. Never mind. That doesn't make any sense. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You're the one that's up all night and sick, and I'm the one that's not making any sense.
no
But
problem. Sorry
yeah,
if my voice is a little bit bad because my nose is closed and we are struggling with sickness since 1 month here. And it's really hard because my little girl is now at preschool, and from there she gets all the illness and brings that home. So we all three are ill at the moment. So sorry for my voice.
yeah,
It's not so nice to hear. But the next time, I think when I'm more healthy, then it will be better.
sounds great. And yet your voice sounds fine anyway. But I get it. And after some point in March, we change our time zone to savings time, so it'll only be 10-hour time zone difference instead of
Thanks.
11. So that'll help. Well, Ender, I want to thank you so much. I'll go ahead and end this now. Um,
Okay.
and I'll send you the links as soon as I have them up and ready to go. So
Yes.
spread the word, and
Thank
we'll get 10,000 people watching it.
you.
And
Okay.
I just can't thank you enough. It's always good to see you. Please give my best to your family, including your parents and brother and all the rest of them.
Yes, I will.
And
I will.
okay,
And like I said, we should do this again
I want to.
soon.
And your grandmother in Germany, is she still there or is she here?
She's in Germany at the
Okay,
moment,
send her a
and
hug. I
yes,
really, she is a character. I think she's wonderful. And
thank
so
you.
special regards to her.
You remember she read your coffee?
Yep. And so did Camille.
Yes.
Uh huh. Yeah, they were good. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
hmm great. Anyway,
All right.
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon. And take care
Okay,
of
William.
everybody.
You
Well,
too, William. Take care and goodbye, everyone.